on the Zoom call, and then we'll be able to get going. So thank you to just having your cameras off, and so then you won't get picked up onto the recording. So I'll pass over to Mark, who's going to start.
Yeah, well, I can't see all your pictures, but I see lots of names. So welcome. I see a few names I know, but not many. I certainly see Matt Clarkson, so great, Matt. Good to have your involvement as usual and your support. I'd like to welcome all the parents. Thank you for dialing in. I'm going to do a bit of context and background, tell you about the recent events in Parkfield, how we're dealing with the challenges. Thrilled to introduce properly in a moment Claire Adams, and also to thank Tony and to Kim. Big thanks for their support in this period where we felt a little vulnerable, but we've now secured the situation. And then I'm going to hand over to these guys. We all have a contribution to make. We're on a quite time scale. This meeting will finish at 6. If you've got any burning questions, if it's about your child or an individual thing about your class teacher, then you'll need to contact the SLT tomorrow. You can phone the school if there's an urgent issue you want addressed. Wouldn't be appropriate to do that in this forum. But general questions, we'd like you to put them on chat, and we'll try and preserve a bit of time at the end to address those questions and any issues. So, right, I'm just finding what I want. So I wrote to parents, I think it's about towards the end of, third week of November. I wrote to you after having discussed this issue with Matt, the Chair of Governors, and I wrote to you with probably some news that was surprised you. Ian Golding, the former principal, had made the decision to leave his post at Parkfield, and is keen to take up a new direction and study fine art at university. It's one of his passions. And we agreed at short notice to Ian leaving. And we wanted to thank Ian for his time at Parkfield. He's worked very, very closely with the staff and the pupils and many of the parents, and brought about lots of improvements. And we wanted to convey that Ian wished the school and staff and students and parents his very best, but he was moving on, and we in turn wanted to wish Ian well for the future. So I was aware that this might happen, and I contacted somebody with whom the trust and the school has a very strong relationship, and that is Leanne Williams, who's the head of Ringwood School. It's a national teaching school with a very good reputation. It's a big player in the region. They support a lot of schools, and they do a lot of work in training teachers and providing high quality CPD for teachers. And I asked Leanne if she might look at her network and see if she could suggest somebody who could secure, with my support and the leadership of the school, the situation regarding the principalship. And well, I have to say that Leanne just came up trumps, and she introduced me to Claire Adams, and Claire is her senior deputy at Ringwood. Claire's been a member of the leadership team at Ringwood for over 10 years. She has supported the school through a period of great growth. She is the director of the national teaching program that's run out of Ringwood School. She's got a close relationship with the trust. One of our primaries is one of her support schools, enables her to run a whole range of different programs for primary and secondary. And I was absolutely delighted that Claire would be interested in this. Claire's got her national professional qualification for headship. She actually supports teachers, senior leaders, and she was just really ticked an awful lot of boxes. So we arranged for Claire to visit, and you know, to cut a long story short, Claire has agreed to do this and to work with me and obviously Kim and Tony, who have been in the school for some significant time and know it very, very well. And in many ways, I think the leadership of the school currently is probably has further capacity than the previous arrangements, because we also have Jackie Green, who is the principal of Malmesbury Park, supporting us in the primary. So, you know, what was a period of time with a little bit of vulnerability, or certainly gave, you know, challenged me in terms of where do we move on from here and secure the future. I'm really very pleased that we've managed to get Claire. Claire has supported the school in the past through her work as the teaching school, supporting other schools, and so she's familiar with the school, and you know, great credit to her. Although you've only been in the school probably about 3 weeks, it feels like you've been there probably about 3 terms already. So I'm thrilled at your contribution. And I'm very, very pleased to introduce you to the parents, Claire. Just a word about Kim and Tony, who have worked incredibly closely with me and through this period. And they both know Claire as well, but they've welcomed Claire to the school and already are aligned with Claire and the leadership and the new direction. So, you know, a real special thanks to Kim. And also to Tony. You're real stalwarts and a great asset to the school. And I've got to know you, you know, even better by working closely with the school when I come up 2 days a week. And you know, I just really do take my hat off to you. You've been great, and you've been that sort of consistency and continuity between the previous leadership arrangements and the new. So I do thank you. I wanted to say a quick thank you. I want to hand over to Claire and to Kim and Tony, because they've got a lot more detail which will interest you, but some general things about the trust and the way we work with schools. And I've had this conversation with Matt, the Chair of Governors. All schools across the country are going through very difficult and challenging times at the moment. You know, we had the lockdown towards the end of March. We went into something that we really were had not had experience of before. We called it Educare. We also coupled that with finding opportunities to provide some sort of consistency in learning, and this new thing called virtual learning started to become an issue for schools. And also we needed to spend a lot of time tracking our vulnerable children. And I want to thank Parkfield for the way they managed that quite vulnerable period of time very skillfully. So we then had the period where we opened to a wider group in June, but because of the constraints of COVID and social distancing and the way classrooms and spaces need to be configured, we clearly couldn't bring all the pupils back. But then we literally had that slice of the end of term, and then obviously summer holidays, to work very closely with our schools and our principals and the teams of staff to make sure the schools are ready for a September full opening. And I want to, you know, it sounds like I'm doing an awful lot of thank yous this evening, but they're genuine and they're well deserved. The staff team have worked well with Kim and with Tony in order to put very robust risk assessments in place to make sure that we manage the schools and we create safe environments. And we feel, although we've had some issues, considering the fact that we have, you know, large number of primary and secondaries coming together, I think the school staff have worked very well, and we've managed to maintain quite a high degree of protection and ensuring pupils, children and students and staff are as safe as they possibly can be. So big thank you to the staff team. We had a review about the provision. We go into in a detailed review. We employ a trained leading Ofsted inspector who worked with me and a team of associate school leaders, and Leanne Simmons, who's the head teacher, and a national leader. And we did a big review of the school towards the end of September, beginning of October. And we found there were some really good practice in the school in both primary and secondary. But the challenge is for us to get it to that of the very best. So we're ambitious. We want to pick up on that review and the outcomes. And I'm happy to share the key issues, the key findings with you. And what would be even more interesting and exciting is to tell you what we're doing about it, where we think there's an area to improve, an area for development. Then we'll be happy to share our plans, because they may very well include parents about how we plan to secure those areas that need strengthening. And Claire is already very busy and has got a very good and robust development plan in place, and planning the work programme for the rest of the year. So enough of me. Again, great to have such support from the parents. I see how busy you are in the mornings and the afternoons, and that the sort of interactions you have with staff. You're a very supportive community. We're lucky to have you. But in turn, I also hope that you feel that the school is doing right for your children. So Claire, over to you. I've told parents a little bit about you, but you know, there's much more to tell, and I don't know whether you'd like to expand a bit and
yes,
let us know what mischief you've been up to.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you so much for your kind words. It's much appreciated. So good evening, parents. My name's Claire Adams, as Mark said, and I am delighted to be working in Parkfield School. I don't hail from very far away with Ringwood, and it's been a pleasure to have, over the last few years, really supported the work at Parkfield, so that we have a good working relationship together. And so it's been an easy transition for me to start work just after half term with Kim and Tony, looking at the outcomes of the review that had been done, and looking to the future really, and where the school is headed. In the short time that I've been there, I found a really dedicated and committed staff, a supportive governing body, and a team of people around the school that really are invested in it. And most importantly, your young people, who have been the most welcoming. I've been out on break duties, I've been out in the mornings, and they couldn't have been more interested or supportive or kind. It's a big school, as some of you will know, in terms of the buildings. So they've been supporting me to make my way around the school, and they are polite and courteous, and really a pleasure to be around. So thank you for that. They are truly a credit to you. So 20 years in education for me now, and 10 of those as a senior leader over at Ringwood. So I've got some experience behind me, but a supportive team, and lots of ideas that we can start to shape and implement for the future direction of Parkfield School. One of the things that obviously we are thinking about always is the growth of the school, and with the admissions and the year 7 and early years applications to the school being so important for us, then we look to our parent body to, if you're having a good time, if your children are enjoying school, to spread that word and share that via word of mouth. I've spoken to Matt, the Chair of Governors, about how we continue to promote Parkfield in the wider community of Bournemouth, Poole and Christchurch, and we really look to you to help us with that. There's no better marketing than somebody who's had a successful experience. So we are grateful for anything that you can share to help. We're obviously willing to take applications from parents and families still. So please do guide people towards us, and we'll be really happy to give them as much information as we possibly can. Sadly, tours are a little bit limited at the moment, but we hope that will change in time, and we do have some promotional videos that we've done that we hopefully will be able to share with any prospective students and their families to have a look at. We've been busy actually making some new appointments as well for a January start. We're delighted to have a new Senko joining us from January, who's actually coming from Malmesbury Park, Kimberly. She will be an amazing asset to our team. She is well experienced, and it just shows the power really of working with a multi-academy trust, and the fact that we can work with Jackie Green and her team to ensure that our employability is strong, and that subject specialists in front of the children are high on our priority, and that we have experts in their fields doing the roles that we need them to be doing. So we're delighted to have Kimberly join, and we would hope to do another parental Zoom in the new year to introduce you to a few new faces that are coming to the school. So we are expanding a little bit in terms of our staffing, and we're really pleased with the quality that we are attracting, which is a great sign for our future as we move forward. I think it is really, for me, about high quality teaching and learning that is at the heart of all I do. It's about making sure that those teachers in those classes are working alongside your children to make sure that they have a broad and balanced offer, so that they feel that their next steps are available to them and they're well prepared. I've been really pleased to be in Year 10 and 11 assembly today, and I will move to other year groups in the coming week, so that I can meet all of the children and they can get a flavour of what I stand for and who I am. And really that is about making sure that, although it's very hard to change the past of students' educational journey, it is something that we can do to shape their future and make sure that they have what they need to, like I say, make their next steps, whether that be into employment, apprenticeships or further education, so that they feel that they have got the best that they can, the best start they can from Parkfield, and the care that they've got not only academically but also pastorally as well. We take that very, very seriously and hold that in high regard around developing the whole child and making sure that they are those global citizens of the future that we know that they need them to be in this locality where we have a variety of industry, but also making sure that they are well adjusted into society to be those citizens that we know that they can be and will be, and that they certainly show amongst our school community. So a great start for that too. But that's something that is very important for me. I have to say it's really nice to be talking to you, although via Zoom, without wearing a visor, and the challenges that have come from interacting with both students and staff staff with the visors on is a challenge at the moment. But we're working very hard to make sure that we still get the same level of interaction, that the children are still getting the great level of teaching and learning in the classroom, so that they're enjoying and, most importantly, feeling safe in and amongst the school community. So we're working hard on lots of things. We're going to be coming to you with a newsletter and a parent letter before the end of term, just to give you an idea of what the direction of travel is, and to give you some clues about what that might be from January. And we really do welcome your support as we move into the new year 2021, and all of the things that that's going to offer to us to keep moving the school in that direction that we know we want to be going. So I thank you all so much for your time today. It's appreciated, and if there are any questions, like I've typed in and Mark has already said, please do put them in the chat and we'll just have a look at those. But I'm going to pass over to Kim Taylor, who has welcomed me and supported me as I've joined the school, and I look forward to working with her further. Thanks, Kim.
Thanks, Claire. I'd just like to echo Mark and everyone else's, and to welcome you into school. It has only been 3 weeks, but you are already an embedded part of the team, so welcome and thank you. I've got a few more thanks to pass out to begin with, and a few updates. Just to follow on from what Claire's been saying, a big thanks to all the staff, the parents, and in particular the students, to all the adaptations they've had to make this year to the start of year. We've done a lot of risk assessments. They're constant ongoing risk assessments, and we are constantly making changes as a result of this. And the way that the students have taken it on board, and it's been supported by yourself and by the staff, has been really great to see. We are going to carry on with the risk assessment updates, and there might be further changes in the future, but we have been really surprised and really pleased with the way that the students have adapted really quickly to it. So a real thank you to them in these times. Whilst all that's been going on, we have been trying to maintain normality at school within the curriculum. We have done lots of stuff over the last half term, including the Yellow Mellow, Anti-Bullying Week, Children in Need, and I know that Tony's going to go into a bit more detail about that in a minute. What we haven't been so good at keeping up on is putting it all on social media. So what we are going to do is make sure that there's lots of this information captured within the newsletter that's going out very soon. Those of you in primary year 7, 10, 11 should have received the letters about Parents' Evening today. That is all now up and running for our first virtual ones over the next few weeks, and then the following years will carry on after Christmas, and we're excited to see how the virtual system works. There was a few glitches beforehand, but the letter has gone out now and the booking system is up and operational for bookings to go through. The other things coming up for the end of the year is we have finalised our Christmas lunch through Chartwell's for the 17th of December. That is still going ahead, and that will include the normal crackers, party gear, etc., etc. There will undoubtedly be some class parties, and we are going to send some information out about a lunchtime early finish on the final day of term as well. So within school, we have been so surprised about how resilient the students have been and how it's just been back to normality for them, despite it being anything but normal at times. So a real thank you to the students, the staff, and yourself, the parents, for supporting that. And yeah, just a great big thank you from us. So.
Thank you so much, Kim. Thank you for that. And we're going to pass over now to Tony. Thank you.
Hello there, and good evening. Most of you will know me as Tony Wilcox. I would like to again shadow that welcome, Claire. Really, really lovely to have you in our Parkfield family. I'd also like to say a few personal thanks. First of all, to Mrs. Claxton, our Key Stage 1 lead. I know that she's been working very hard with the Key Stage 1 staff to look at some of the changes that have been taking place down there. So we've had a lot of exciting changes taking place in EYFS, which have been really, really exciting. And I know alongside Miss Richards and also Mrs. Argo has just been very, very positive. So yeah, just a personal thanks to Mrs. Claxton. Whilst we're also just saying a few thanks, I would like to also obviously thank all of the staff and parents during this very strange time that we find ourselves in at the moment. And as has been said, our children have just adapted with so much resilience. We have been so impressed with how they've returned back to school and how they've been progressing. It's been really, really wonderful to see. Just a few sort of highlights that teachers wanted to sort of share with you all. So we've had some fantastic work going on down with harvest work that's been going on down in EYFS. We've had Year 2 making shakers. They are currently designing their covers with oil-based crayons, and they are going to be creating a music show based on that, which is fantastic. We've got down in Year 3 and 4, we've got a lot of artwork that's being produced that's going to be exhibited around school as well. So we hope to get a lot of that up on our Facebook channel and in our newsletter as well. We've also got Anglo-Saxons going on in Year 5 at the moment. They've been doing a lot of print-based work. So again, we will be sharing that with you. And Year 6, I just want to say a very special well done to them, because they have been doing absolutely amazing work in all areas of the curriculum, but their mock SATs that they've been doing, they have really shown some huge commitment to that. And we've been so impressed with the progress that they are making moving forward. So a really, really big well done to all of the hard work that's been going on around school, really. Just to continue what Kim Taylor was saying about some of the events that we've been holding. So again, thank you for the parent support with things such as Children in Need. We raised £339. Also for Young Minds, for our Hello Yellow Day, we raised £406 as well. So that was really, really positive. I would like to say a personal thank you to some of the wonderful equipment that some of our parents have supported us in purchasing. So obviously we did have to make some slight alterations to the Year 6 prom event, and we did our festival instead. From that, some of the parents were very kind to donate some of the money that from the prom that was originally going to be the prom, and that's actually gone through to playground equipment and EYFS resources. So really, really big thank you for that, for all of the parents that were involved in that. Just something really exciting that we're going to be looking forward to. Instead of a nativity this year, we are going to be looking at putting together Christmas Carol videos. So each class is going to be working on some Christmas carols to share with you, and we're going to make sure that that is filmed and edited with the narration from Year 6 children. So that's something that yeah, we're very much looking forward to. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Tony. And I think that one of the most special things about Parkfield is the all-through school nature of it. And, you know, remembering that we have children from all the way from EYFS to year 11, and that makes for such a rich and exciting environment. And you hear that through what the information that Tony's giving around the exciting things that are happening down in primary, and similarly from Kim with the things that are happening in secondary, and they really do support each other so well in terms of how that shows the progression all the way through Parkfield School and the academic journey, as well as being great role models for each other, which is something that I think is a real strength of the school and what it has to offer. A couple of things that have come up in the chat, just with regards to some supply teachers that we've been using. I think, like most schools, we have had to call in some supply because of the pandemic, and we're really grateful to have had some consistent supply in, which is always really good. But we're fighting fit now on the whole, and the school is back to where we are. And like I said earlier, we've made some great appointments. We've got a few more to do. So we are looking to make sure that we've got those ready and in place for January if we can. So we're excited for making sure that we have a stable, safe, well and permanent staff. So thank you for that question. And it's something, yes, we are mindful of and keeping an eye out for. And a question around remote learning. Staff have been amazing in getting up to speed. I'm sure, like many of you have in your working lives, something that you never thought you'd be talking about was Teams and Zoom calls, but staff have managed to get up to speed with that incredibly quickly before we broke up for the summer holidays, but also now with that blended approach of learning, where when children are isolating at home, that they are able to still dial into the lessons. And that is testament to the staff's confidence, to their willingness to ensure that learning continues for young people, and having the technology available to do that. So we don't envisage having to go into full lockdown. That's not the government message that's coming out, but obviously we are constantly updated and guided by them through their regular school updates, which we are receiving, not least off the back of information that's coming out today. But we look to remain as we are and open and welcoming all of the children in. We definitely see that being very good for the mental health and well-being of the children, being together, having the routine and stability that school offers them actually is really shining through with the children as they are operating together now in their bubbles, but safely and back there. So we don't anticipate that, but we will continue with the remote learning for those children who are isolating. It's working well, we're having good feedback, and it means that learning is continuing, which is obviously the most important thing for us, that the children don't feel like they're getting left behind or that there are gaps. So I think there are many things that we will look forward to seeing the back of from this pandemic, but there are some things that we will, I'm sure, look to embrace, which are, you know, the benefits of the remote learning, the use of Teams, and the way in which we can effectively communicate with each other without drawing so much on your time. So just before we close, I'd just like to ask Matt, our Chair of Governors, if he would just like to unmute himself and maybe put his video on, and I'll just hand over to Matt Clarkson. Thanks, Matt.
Hi, thanks. Just so that Mark's not the only one, you see, there was a lot of thanks today, and it's interesting that it's in the United States. It's Thanksgiving Day. For those of you that know me, I'm the Chair of Governors, and I've been part of the school since the very start, since it first opened, and been a governor since then. And I'm originally from California, so I'm celebrating Thanksgiving this evening with a Thanksgiving dinner, and it's appropriate that we've given thanks to a lot of the staff who've been working really hard, looking after all of our children at the school. I think one of the things I wanted to just say before we finished was, you know, with a change in leadership, it can be a time of uncertainty and some alarm. And one of the things that's been really impressed with me, and I think one of the benefits now of being part of a trust, is that we've got so much support from the trust in terms of, you have people like Mark, with phenomenal experience, but behind Mark, there's also a whole host of other people at the Trust who are really supportive, really helpful, and have provided a lot of support to our already great staff. But they do things like, the finance function, is outsourced, and the HR function is outsourced. And a lot of this stuff means that the teaching staff that we've got can really focus on looking after our children day in, day out, and not get distracted by a lot of this other stuff. So I think the final thing I just really want to say is that I'm really, really pleased with Claire's appointment. I'm really pleased with how the Trust have supported us through this transition. And just wanted to give you, if it means anything, just to let you know, they've got my full confidence and my full support. And I'm just really excited about where we're going from here. So thank you guys all for your patience and for your time today. Mark, do you want to close up?
Yeah, Matt, I'm really enjoying working with you. I really do very much appreciate your support. And I'm slightly surprised that one question didn't come up, and that's about, this is an interim leadership arrangement, and I think one question did come in when the invite for parents was extended. So I'd like to raise that issue. I did ask, and I pressed the button whilst you were speaking, Matt, very rudely. I was asking for thumbs up to get some feedback of whether our virtual learning is working well for parents. In some of our schools, it's working very well. In some schools, it's actually quite a challenge for working parents who may have limited devices, who are working from home. It'd be good to send out a questionnaire to get some feedback from you. So that explains why all the thumbs up were going. It might have been for you, actually, Matt. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it might have been an answer to my question. Give us some feedback. But going back to what I was saying, the interim leadership arrangements, frankly, I think they're stronger and more robust than the previous one. So I'm really pleased. We've got Kim, who's an absolute Trojan, and Tony also representing primary. We've now got Claire with all of her experience as an outstanding deputy, director of a teaching school, huge focus on professional development, great relationships building already. And we've got Jackie also from Malmesbury Park. And you have a little bit of little old me too. So I'm actually really pleased with the interim arrangement. And I'm hoping they do such a good job. Maybe they'll be encouraged to become a bit of a permanent arrangement. But first things first, let's enjoy, make some mischief, make some magic this academic year. And at the beginning of the end of the spring term, we'll be talking with governors and parents about getting excited for what substantive arrangements are in place for leading us from September 21. There's one more chat. I'm going to leave the final word to Claire. But thank you, Matt. Thank you, parents. Kim and Tony, thank you also. Claire, can we hand over to you for the last remark?
Yes, thank you, Mark and Matt. Thank you so much for coming this evening. It does eat into your time. I do appreciate that. But I wanted to for you to meet me in the only way we can at the moment. I look forward in the new year. I hope to getting to the point where we can have you back on site, and so that we can meet in person. But I think this is the best next step for us, and I'm grateful. And hopefully we'll have a few more parents when we do a Zoom call in the new year, when we can just update you on where we are. We'll try and do a termly update of this nature, so that you can just feel like you're connected to us still. I know it's hard when you drop the children at the gates and you don't see the staff quite as much now either. So please do stay in contact with us. We will try and communicate with you as effectively as we can and frequently as we can. We are looking to drive through on our social media, get that going again. So do keep an eye out on that, and we will look to be providing as much information through there as we can. If there are any parents out there who think you've got something, a skill set that you might be able to offer to us, then please do come forward. We're always looking for people with skills from industry that you might be able to lend to us. So sorry for the blatant plug, but if there is anybody, then please do get in contact, and we will be always delighted to speak to you about things that you think you can help with, or that we certainly can be doing better. So if we don't see you again before we break up, Thank you so much. Have a as nicer and as enjoyable time as you can over the festive period, and we look forward to the remainder of this term and to starting again in the new year in January and pushing forward. So the video will go up onto our YouTube channel. So if you've got parents who you know who haven't been able to see it tonight because of the timing, perhaps you could direct them, and we will send that out via email as well so that they can have a look. But thank you, and we wish you a pleasant rest of your evening. We will wait here now while you all leave. So if you're happy and you want to unmute your screen, then please feel free to wave, whatever you like. We'll stay and we'll smile and we'll wave.
Well done, team. Thank you all. Yep, good turnout. Yep. Shame we can't see the parents, isn't it? Does that just sort of soak up broadband?